If you have a Toyota Tacoma, you know one of the most annoying things is not being able to actually put your drinks in here or your bigger cups in these stock cup holders. I'm going to show you how easy it is to install one of these new ones. I got this right here from AJT Design. There's about 2 or 3 options. This is the one that I decided to go with, but I'll put links for everything in the video. They have one that's a little bit bigger, but it's kind of like almost too much. This one's definitely big enough to hold anything you want to put in there. And then what's nice also is that it still accepts this piece right here. You can put it in the new ones, and you can actually put different size containers in there, but they're actually going to sit all the way down to the bottom, and they're not going to sit there and kind of wobble like you see here. You have to really wedge it down, and it still wants to kind of pop out. We're going to get rid of this stock one. We're going to install this one, and I'll show you how easy it is. Don't be afraid. It's just a couple pulls, a couple screws, and we're right back into business. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to pop this down, just pull straight down. Should pop down. Then you can unscrew your shifter. If you ever want to upgrade one of these, that's how easy it is to switch this out. We're then going to start back here. We're going to pull straight up, and we're going to work our way forward, and it's just a bunch of clips. There is a plug right here that before you pull it all the way up, we want to make sure that we undo that plug. So you can kind of grab underneath here and pull straight up. So I used this little gap right here to pull straight up. Then I can use this to pull up. We're going to rock this thing forward, and you can see those cords right there. That plug right there, we want to disconnect. And then once we pull this out of place, again, you might have to use 2 hands because I'm filming right now. But we're just going to pull this off of your e-brake. And then we have this whole thing out. And what we're going to be doing here is actually just pulling these screws out, replacing it. And then there's one spot right here. You might want to loosen this and pull it back just a little bit, because I've seen sometimes when you install these, it's a little bit of a tight fit because of how big and deep these are. You might want to adjust this a little bit. So it just slides slightly and you give yourself a little bit of play. Let's go ahead and unscrew this, and we'll go ahead and attach the new one. And then we're just going to reverse this process, making sure we sleeve the boot, make sure we get this through the hole before we push down. And then we're going to snap our way through, put this back on, and we're done. Also, really quick, if you want to grab any Fort Knox gear, I finally got the shop up. I got some really cool t-shirts. Everything has an American flag on the sleeve. I designed it all myself, and I print it myself. So if you want to support me in the channel, hit like, hit subscribe, and maybe even grab yourself a cool t-shirt. So now we have this out. We're just going to remove these screws around here. Just a regular Phillips screwdriver. We're just going to undo them, and then we'll be able to pull this whole piece off. And just like that, 6 screws, we got everything out. This is your old one. And they really did take their time to design it so that it's an exact replacement. It fits right back on, same 6 screws. So just reverse this process. This will be attached and we can put it right back in. So just a couple minutes to take it off, put it back on. Now we have our deeper. Looks like it's factory. It's just made the way it probably should have been. We're going to put that insert in here, and I'll show you just how perfect it is for the Yeti or any other type of containers or koozies that you have. It's going to fit the way that it should have from the factory. And the part before we put this back in that I was talking about, and I've just seen this off some other videos, loosen this right here just a little bit. You can pull it back just slightly and then retighten it, and that just gives you that clearance. I think this is just to kind of save any future headaches, because this is a lot larger. When you're pushing it in, it's a really tight fit. So move this back just a little bit and then tighten this one back down. So to start putting this back in, we're going to sleeve this back down over. When you put this and start lining it up, make sure you don't push down too hard and get this through your actual shifter boot. And then also make sure that we have this wire tucked underneath right here, and we have it connected. You don't want the wire sitting on top. It has a little bit of an arm right here. You want this wire right here to actually go right underneath, and make sure this is feeded through the boot, because when you push it down, you don't want this to pop through the boot. So make sure that's fed through. And then once we get this fed through, everything starts to sit down. You can pull this sleeve back a little bit. You see it already starts to kind of grab right here. Work from the front back, making sure this is clear, and just work from here, aligning it, clicking it back into place, and then this pops in because this needs to go straight down. Just like that. Then lastly, you can go ahead and screw your shifter back on. And then we can pop this straight back up. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and put that divider in and see how much better this is. So now this is our finished look. It looks like it came from the factory. We can go ahead and put this back in here. This will help you with all the different sizes. And now the moment of truth. We can actually sit this down. It sits nice and flat. It's very stable. And then this helps you adjust to those different size containers. I also have a large Milwaukee, the 32 ounce, that will now sit all the way down, and then it won't wobble too much because it has this adapter in there still. So this is really functional now. In the other one, it was a nice gesture, but when this would not actually sit down to the bottom, it seemed kind of pointless because you could not get your container deep enough. Now we can actually set stuff in here and still keep it stable. So I think this is one of the best upgrades you can make for your truck, as well as doing one of these phone mounts. I think this is one of the best phone mounts on the market. And I also just did a video on how to install this. This took about 10 minutes. This took probably less than 10 minutes. These are two of the best upgrades I can recommend for your Toyota Tacoma. Love the truck. Just all these little things that make your life easier on the daily. So now you can have your drink. Now you can have your phone. They have all kinds of adapters and chargers and different mounts, so you can do multiple mounts. This here wasn't too expensive, and I think it's well worth the money. I'll put links for them in the description. I'll also put links for the video on this one if you're interested. But they have a couple different options. I think this is the best one. They all install exactly the same way, so you can still use this video to install any of those brands. But well worth the money. One of the best upgrades I made. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe, and if you want to, you can even grab a cool Fort Knox t-shirt. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.